What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. That's not Kevin over there. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We are joined by a very special guest this evening. Kevin was otherwise disposed and couldn't make it. We were planning on having Carson anyway, so we just decided instead of a three-man, we would run a two-man show tonight. How you feeling, bud?
Feeling great. Ready to talk about some wings.
Yeah, man. So we are talking about Carson's very favorite thing, which happens to be chicken wings. And so we're going to dive in. He is our resident wing expert. And then we'll be back to regular format next week, and Kevin will join us. But welcome in, man. It's been a minute since we've had you on the podcast. We had you on once when we talked about pizza, and then we actually tried to do wings last year, but I
deleted.
Yeah, I messed it up. I did not put a memory card in, and so
Whoops.
Yeah, that's all me. So how? Tell me how life is, man. You having a good run of things right now?
Pretty good. Yep. Just started baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball's fun.
It is fun, yeah. That's a wildly excited little reflection you had there.
You know what goes great with baseball?
What goes great with baseball, Carson?
Wings do.
Wings do go great with baseball. You are right. And so we're here tonight, and we're gonna celebrate wings.
Woohoo!
What is your what's your favorite kind of wing? Like, when did you? I guess let's start back. Like, when did you fall in love with wings? When did wings become your jam?
I would say I was probably around 8, and it was one of the times Mom had gone out of town.
Yeah,
and that's when the tradition started of every time Mom's out of town, we're gonna eat wings. And so I just remember I don't even remember the first time specifically. I just bet like from the first time I ate wings, I was like, yeah, these are.
I've always been a chicken guy though, and we're gonna try to not do it gross, but we are gonna eat wings as we go. I grilled wings tonight prior to the episode. And so wings are kind of a gross food, but we're gonna try to get around it. We should alternate, one of us talking while one's eating. So are you gonna eat?
You go for it.
You go. So, but you've always kind of been a chicken guy in general, right?
Yeah, I think chicken's probably my favorite protein. Generally healthy, got a good amount of not too high in fat, but it is high in protein, and it's healthy enough that you can eat stuff like wings and do whatever you want to make it more unhealthy, and it's still not going to be horribly unhealthy. Like, we could cover them in butter, and it's still going to be not catastrophic to my body.
It'll be better than while I'll argue taste-wise, calorically, it would be better than like a big fat ribeye. Because we're
better than a burger, probably.
Yeah, for sure, because you got the carbs of the bread, and you got all this. Which I guess is one of the reasons why actually we've always been wing grillers, is because we don't really enjoy all of the breading on a wing.
Yeah.
If you're like right now, you sort of are limited by the fact that you live under my roof, and Mom's not a huge wing fan, and so, but let's pretend you're on your own and money's not an issue and you're in charge of life. How often would you guess? How often do you eat wings?
I would like to say every day. That would not be sustainable. And I feel like, I don't know if I could get tired of wings, but I feel like if I could get tired of wings, that's probably the way to do it. So I wouldn't want to risk it. So I'd say maybe anywhere from once a week to once a month.
Yeah.
Probably depending, just to get it in there.
That's really sensible, because I feel like 5 or 6 year old Carson would have probably just said
every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, 3 times a day. Yeah, he would have, when you were a kid, you would have just sold out for wings.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot you can do with them too, because you can do different flavors. You can do grilled, fried, baked, probably.
Smoked. Yeah. So a lot of people bake actually.
Yeah. I think I've had a few baked wings. For the most part, though, it's grilled.
Yeah, we put out some questions on our social media this week leading up to this episode, and I was surprised that a couple of people sent in their recipe suggestions, and they were fans of the breading.
I think
or the baking, which I don't
baking, know. I feel like that has potential to get dry.
Yeah. Easily. And
the outside, I feel like it could make it kind of chewy in my experience, which is not something I love. I would definitely say grilled. Nice.
It's just gross to eat a wing. Got a little bit on there? Oh, yeah. Wow. Real life, folks, here on the Feed Your Fat Face podcast.
I feel like grilled is definitely number one way to do it in my heart. And then number two, it would be followed by fried. Fried isn't bad. I like a good I like a good fried wing. It can't
Fried but not breaded.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's kind of a fine line. Maybe just like not too much. Like Wingstop. I like Wingstop wings. Sometimes they're a little greasy because that breading just holds on to the grease a little bit. But
we're going to talk about Wingstop in a minute because their wings are good. But there's another thing that Wingstop does that it's just elite on ranch. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Yeah, and we've even done some things like we have. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself again. I said I wouldn't. So there's all kinds of flavors. What's your favorite wing flavor? What's your go-to when you go to a wing spot?
Unquestionably, garlic parmesan, but not wet sauce garlic parmesan. I think pre-made like garlic parmesan sauce is pretty gross. But if it's like butter, garlic, and then you actually put parmesan on top, that's
so like Buffalo Wild Wings has lots of wet sauces. That's not your.
They're all right. They're still pretty good, but at that point when it's a wet sauce, there's other wings I would put above that.
Yeah,
I would put. Recently, I've actually been a fan of the Asian wing, kind of the sweet and spicy.
Yeah,
that's been pretty good. Barbecue is always a solid choice. Not a huge buffalo fan. I've never been. I just think it's kind of just like vinegar and it hurts. So. Not the biggest.
What if you could get without the hurt? What if you could get the flavor, like a mild flavor?
Then it's still just like vinegar, and it's not really.
So it's not your jam.
Yeah, I would say I'm a buffalo hater.
Oh wow, a hater.
I hate it. Like I'll eat it if there's wings and those are the only wings there, I will eat them. But I will never choose buffalo.
You're never gonna ever choose buffalo. That's interesting. I would actually put So I'm with you. Garlic parmesan's my favorite. I would go buffalo probably second though. So that's interesting that we have that. What's the round out your top five? What's the rest of your top five flavors?
So garlic parmesan, Asian barbecue, and then I don't know. Just I feel like at some point you kind of got to go for. It depends on the spot, you know. It depends on what their main things are because obviously. If you go to a ring restaurant, they have their top flavors, and their top flavors for a reason. So I feel like I'm pretty versatile in my 3 and 4 spot.
So you actually take that into account. If you go into a wing spot, you're going to consider what are you saying you're good at?
Yeah, because there's some places that are going to be better than – it's like there's going to be better barbecue at some places than others. Like we were talking about, like places just do it different. Like some places are going to have the dry garlic parmesan, and some are going to have the wet sauce. So it just varies where you're at because – it could just be different. And so if there's one thing they do really well, it's probably pretty good. One thing I do not get the hype about and that I'm not a huge fan of is lemon pepper.
Yeah, I don't either. In fact, to the point where I forgot to put it on our poll of favorite flavors. So if you like lemon pepper, you can let me know, drop a comment, but it didn't even register with me.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say about it. Yeah, so I get that. So we did the theme. What was interesting. It was really a pretty even. It was a pretty even split. Like most people were, I think 56% actually went garlic parmesan, and then there was another percentage that liked original. Barbecue came in third, and then the only thing that even scored was sort of an Asian
no
inspired.
buffalo.
That was original. Yeah, I consider that original. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, so. What is the most wings you've eaten in a sitting, and what is the most wings you think you could eat in a sitting?
I think the most I've had in one sitting. Are we counting bone in or boneless?
You tell me.
Either. Okay, so bone in, I think I've got 27. But that's just, I feel like mostly that's because of limitation of where I'm at, like quantity limitations. I'd say most I could eat is probably depends if I got to warm up or not. If I've been working up to it, because like just right now I could probably knock down 30. If I'm like hadn't eaten a bunch all day, I could probably get 30. But I feel like if you gave me a week to prepare, I'd probably get 50.
So you're an athlete. You're used to conditioning and training in order to get ready for an event. What does training for a wing debacle look like?
You'd have to just eat a lot kind of stretch out your stomach a little bit. I'd say eat kind of heavy foods so it's more dense. Eat a lot of it, and
probably
then
lots of water.
Yeah, drink liquid with it. maybe get a milkshake in there to kind of just solid.
So you would only try this during a bulk, not a cut.
Yes. Yeah, that'd definitely be a cheat day for the cut.
I would love
that would exceed. That'd be a cheat week.
I would love to see you do 50, man. I'm not saying I doubt you.
Episode for the future.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Kevin and I can watch you eat wings. Whoa, you okay there? South Texas allergies are brutal right now.
Allergies are killing me.
Yeah, man. Sorry to hear that.
It's all good.
Yeah, prayers. So you think you could do 50.
And then boneless too. Those are different because.
So I was going to ask. So do you go? What's your go-to? Are you a bone-in or boneless?
100%. Because boneless are just chicken nuggets.
They're just chicken nuggets.
Nobody really needs.
So hot take though.
Chicken nuggets. Wings.
I'm not going to say that they're as good as bone-in wings. I also am a bone-in guy, but I am okay with adult chicken nuggets.
Oh yeah, it's just like okay. So where I had the most bone-in or boneless, me and my friends went to Applebee's. They had a $13 all-you-can-eat boneless wings. And those are different. I would argue that if you're getting good sized ones like they had, it's more meat because there's no bone.
Yeah.
I think I had 21 there.
Was that any kind of record? Did they tell you?
I'm sure it wasn't. I think I had a friend that had 23, Braden Franklin.
You got out-eaten at?
Yeah, but they're chicken nuggets, so that's
fair.
I'm sure if it was wings, I'd have took the crown, but
I guess we'll have to have Braden over and we'll go bone in to bone in and just see what happens. Drumettes or flats?
Flats.
Flats, yeah.
They're just easier to. It's easier to one bite.
Can you one bite a flat?
Of course I can.
Can you one bite a drumette?
I don't know if I can. Maybe a small one.
I can one bite a drumette. I just don't know that anybody wants to see it.
Yeah. The only thing with those is because it gets like big up top. It's hard to get.
I feel like I could do it, but I feel like it might be.
Yeah, maybe not on video.
Maybe not on video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably wise. Look at that, Carson's saving the show tonight, man. Well done, dude.
Just trying to look out for my boy.
So here's according to a website called Butcher and Farmer. Here's the top 5 flavors. Let me know what you think. There's one that says, this is just like, this is not what I thought it was. Buffalo sauce, but then it goes into number 4. They put honey soy, and then sweet chili at number 5.
Sweet chili, that's like the Asian I was talking about.
Yeah, so that's sort of where you.
I don't know what honey soy is.
I don't know what honey. I get that would also I would guess to lean. Probably lean a little Asian, I think.
Right, yeah, that's probably like a Thai wing.
I actually really like that flavor. I like Asian inspired wings myself. Some of my favorite.
I would guess they're probably just like sweet with not like spicy, but probably like bitter.
Is there any spicy wing that you like?
I mean, kind of a mix. There's some of the Asian wings that they have a little. It's the sweet with the spice,
Right.
Like some of the ones that I've eaten the most have. It's kind of like I don't know how to explain it. It's like sweet, but then it has like red pepper flakes in it and just some spice.
For me, I just am like, I really like spicy foods, but not like spicy as a flavor enhancer, not spicy as like how you're hurting me. Yeah.
I feel like spicy too much is a feeling when it needs to be a flavor.
I've always wondered why buffalo, because I agree with you, it's pretty vinegary, but why that was like the original, flavor.
We went to the place that created like the original buffalo wing, right? And it was kind of just like, oh, what was at home? Let me cook it up. I think so. It's probably just availability.
So yeah, that's what we were gonna get into a little bit is the history of the buffalo wing. You know a little bit of it or no? What do you remember from that trip? Because we've been to the original. It's called the Anchor Bar, and the original one in actual Buffalo, New York. Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember that it was kind of just like a household thing. Sometime this lady had her college sons, and they were just had the munchies. I guess they just kept wanting food, so she was like, we're kind of out of stuff, but I got chicken wings and I got hot sauce, and we're in Buffalo, so we'll call them Buffalo wings.
Yeah. Her name was Teresa Bellissimo, and then she just kind of whipped up the sauce with what she had in place. It was in the 60s, it looks like, but yeah,
probably mainly vinegar.
Yeah, but it took off, dude, and she just became a thing. Which I wonder why Why blue cheese? Do you suppose as like because that's like one of our listeners, Francesca Watson, who you know, she was ready to fight me over that blue cheese is the only acceptable dip.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's ranch 100%. But why do you think blue cheese was the original?
I would say blue cheese probably because it probably contrasts the buffalo pretty well. So with buffalo being the dominant type of with buffalo being the dominant type of wing, I would guess that kind of I don't even know what flavor profile to call blue cheese. The blue cheesiness of the blue cheese probably soothes the spice a little bit and just counters it. Yeah, I'm sure it probably goes pretty well with buffalo.
It just seems like a weird thing to settle into. They're like, hey, let's have some moldy stuff here with our wings.
Let me get just get ranch and throw some mold in it.
I want to know why they put carrots and celery on the plate.
I bet that also is because those are vegetables with high water content, so maybe that also helps with the spot. Or it could have been just another thing, like, oh, that's what was around, so it's just became a thing with it.
So it apparently says, from what I'm reading, it says it is crunchy and cool, but also cheap to fill out the meal.
Valid.
It says it adds color to the presentation and that it goes well with the dip.
With the dip, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Do you ever eat the celery and carrots that come with the wings?
Celery occasionally. Sometimes I like celery. I have to be in a celery kind of mood, but sometimes I like celery.
Is ranch your only acceptable dip?
I wouldn't say only acceptable. It's the only one I'll use. But I'm not going to shun you for using blue cheese or.
Yeah, I get it. Well, let's go way back. Do you know kind of big food history, like before we got into this kind of wing, just like where the use of chicken wings in general became popular and like why it was an expendable meat for this woman, Miss Bellissimo?
If I had to guess, it was probably in some kind of depression or something where food was scarce, so you just kind of use every part. And it's like, wow, this is not much meat. We're gonna have to find something to do with it, so just take those.
Yeah, so chicken wings originally were when people would process the chicken for whatever reason, the wing was considered not good to be eaten. So they would just lop it off and then they would just work with the carcass and throw the wings away. But then what happened is you're on the right track with food scarcity, but it wasn't during a depression. It just poor people realized, hey, there's some meat on those things. And so like in the 5th century in like Mediterranean cultures, paupers, poor people they would collect the wings and they would just stew them really slowly and cook them. And then that spread kind of into India. So that's where you ended up getting like, tandoori chicken. They make them in that big clay pot and it had a lot of spices. And then from there, it has always just sort of been a poor person's meat, which is why when those kids came in, like you said, probably with the munchies, mom knew I don't need to go wasting any good proteins on these fellas. So what's cheap and expendable? And there go the wingtips.
That makes sense too with where it came from, because I bet that'd be with poor people, it'd be away from them. You could like raise chickens, cut off the wings, use those, and then sell the rest of the carcass to a butcher. So yeah. It'd provide food and money.
I actually think it's kind of interesting when you start to study food in general and kind of branching off of wings for a minute, how resourceful people become. Like you find a way to use the entire animal or the entire protein.
Hot dogs.
Well, that was a mistake mankind made. But
one thing like that reminds me of random food fact that I'll always hold on to is like how hamburgers were created. I think it was Mongolians back in however long ago, and they'd be on horseback for days. So how it like started, I think, like it's not where the hamburger we think of today comes from, but like they would just get raw meat and stick it between 2 pieces of bread. And then, because you can eat it with one hand while you're controlling your horse while you're riding.
Yeah, it sort of speaks to like where we're at as a culture in some ways, because it's like now we're at a place where everything is about how can I make food fancy or how can I elevate flavor profiles, right? Where I work, we deal a lot with poverty alleviation and middle and upper middle class food, our families' food becomes about the experience. where really up until relatively recently, food was like a culture's food was all about expediency. What's cheap, what's quick, and like you said, for a lot of people, what can we eat on the move? I feel like in some ways, still some of the best flavor profiles, or at least some of my favorite flavor profiles, are things that come out of cultures like that, where it was just like, hey, we just got to eat this on the run.
For sure. Meatloaf.
Yeah, Mom hates meatloaf, bro.
Wild.
It's wild.
It's funny to think about where that probably came from, though. We got some meat and some maybe some little vegetables we can chop up real small.
How much of that do you think if they would have named it differently?
It probably,
like, it's an ugly name.
I don't know what to call it though.
Yeah, no, because it's
cake.
accurate. It is a loaf of meat.
A loaf of meat.
But just that name doesn't sound good. You know?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else
Loaf.
to call it. I don't.
Yeah, you would have had to come up with something fancy. You'd had to make something up that wasn't necessarily representative of its
Should have just called
aesthetic.
it like meatloaf, but in another language, like meatloaf.
You realize that that's not another language. That's just English with an accent.
I don't really know meatloaf in any other languages. So
True.
I was just kind of drilling home the point.
Yeah. Do you dip in anything besides ranch, or is ranch your only acceptable wing dip? Wing dip.
I think I only use ranch.
If somebody's listening and they're in San Antonio or surrounding areas, and they're like, Carson, I want to go get a good wing, where are you sending them? You can give a couple of shout outs or a couple of restaurants if anything comes to mind.
Obviously, Wingstop is a solid, just kind of go-to locked and loaded answer.
Yep.
There's I don't know if they're in San Antonio. I know that it's in Bernie, but Sauced.
Oh yeah, Sauced. They're
Wing
really
Bar
good.
Is pretty good.
Have you ever had the wings with me at Aspen Creek, Bandera in 1604?
I think I have.
They don't sauce them, but they're smoked wings. I thought they were pretty good.
There's also one wing I had one time. This place in downtown San Antonio, Hot Joy.
Oh, the Asian fusion place.
Yeah, and I think they were duck wings actually.
Well, they were
chicken wings fried in duck fat.
Yeah.
No, those were really good. I've never forgot those.
Yeah, those were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only had those once, so it's been a while.
How many wings would you guess are consumed annually?
Worldly or nationally?
Let's just do America.
$575. Let's go. 63 billion.
Well, I can tell you that for just Super Bowl, on average, we consume 1.45 billion wings on Super Bowl Sunday alone. But I would suggest that that's a disproportionately high.
Yeah.
Like, that's the high water mark for sure.
For sure. So then, knowing that, I'd probably, you said 1 billion?
Yeah.
Yeah, then maybe I'd stay around 60, 70 billion
60 or 70 billion.
annually.
So what it does say is 1 billion, 942.5 million. So I'm having trouble extrapolating that data. That's confusing. So, it actually went up on Super Bowl 2024, 1.45 billion wings, which is crazy because we didn't eat wings at the Super Bowl.
We didn't contribute.
No, but hey, what if next year? Because we do our Super Bowl party. We've told the fellow fatties that we do Ball Fest, right?
Ball Fest.
What if we did deconstructed chicken wings? We get like ground chicken, and we do like all of the flavors of a chicken wing, and then we either bake it or grill it or fry it. But it is a ball.
Make like volcano meatballs, but it's chicken and
Yeah.
garlic butter.
And you could find a way to. What if you make them, and then at the end you like with the what we do, you like inject ranch into the middle of them. Come on, right? Yeah, we may be onto something. That's our entry for next year.
We're patenting this product, by the way.
Yeah, nobody listening to it can have it. It's us. Yeah. It's all us.
By the time this is out, we'll already have a patent. So
that's correct.
Back off. That's correct.
I'm looking up where have we eaten wings on the road? We usually don't, other than when we were in Anchor Bar, because Abby and Mom are kind of indifferent about wings, right?
Yeah, I think there's been a few times before you and I go to stadiums where we'll like get them as an appetizer or something, but it's not like a thing.
I looked up like iconic wing joints, and like the number one is this place in New York called Duff's. But most of them,
I think I've heard of that actually.
most of them, there's a place, J. Timothy's in Plainville, Connecticut. We were just in Connecticut. We should have gone there. But most of these center on the buffalo wing. Like it looks like they didn't give any special attention to variety on this.
We need to make Texas style wings.
The Anchor Bar is number 3, so that
That's
yeah,
impressive.
it's pretty high up
We
on
have
the
an
list.
Anchor Bar over on 1604, right?
Yeah, we do. We have one in here. There's another place in North Conway, New Hampshire, Delaney's. Apparently, well, it makes sense.
gone all
New
over.
England. Yeah, we were just there too. So we talked earlier about breaded or unbreaded. You prefer unbreaded. You have told me though you like grilled. You're not wild about smoked wings.
Yeah.
Is it just that the smoke flavor gets too intense, or what?
I don't know how to place it. I just think I like grilled more. Smoked, I think I like because the smokiness is kind of on the inside, but I feel like the smokiness also is on the outside, and it kind of takes away from the flavor profile that you may be going for. I feel like it kind of overpowers.
Yeah, it can get too much. Yeah, I'll give you that. But baked, you said they just get too chewy, and it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they're baked, I don't know. Prove me wrong.
How do you feel about places that do like? There's a lot of people doing like fancy wings, right? Like they try to dress it up. Like
Don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it.
We just talked about it. It's a poor person's food.
Yes, keep
I
it
mean,
simple.
now it's not really a poor person, but like,
Yeah.
you don't need to make it.
It feels like without going over the top, there's still a lot you can do with a wing to make it delicious.
Yeah. Here's our finely aged garlic parmesan sauce.
I can ask this question with confidence because I've seen Cam, your girlfriend, I've seen Cameron eat wings. Honey, I hate wings. Is that a deal breaker? Had it early on, like if you guys are, sneaking up on 2 years together now, at the very start, if she would have been like, I really don't think they're worth the time. Are you like, whoa?
I mean, it's definitely a oof kind of moment. Like, it wouldn't be a deal. I'd probably tell her, I'd be like, well, I'm going to eat wings. So
Yeah.
do with that what you may. But one thing actually kind of like that, I didn't find this out till recently. One day she asked me, she goes, do you like deviled eggs? And I'm like, of course.
Who doesn't like deviled
Everyone.
eggs?
And she goes, ew, you're so weird. Thinking, I don't even know. And I was like, no, you're the weird one. I've literally never met anyone in my life who doesn't like deviled eggs. And so the rest of that week I would ask people, and not a single person said they don't like them. She's the only person I know that doesn't like deviled eggs.
Obviously, as a former pastor and as a believer in Jesus, I don't like the devil.
Yeah. But his eggs.
But his eggs are on point, right? Like,
Yeah.
my dude knows a little something about eggs.
So I guess to answer your question, not a deal breaker, but definitely a sucks. That's
yeah,
tough.
and it does well. But here's the other side, right? Because there's things that Mom and I that she likes, and like she loves licorice, and I hate it. She loves that because to her, she's like, "You're not a threat to my licorice."
Yeah, I wouldn't say it would be
there's
like
nothing
not
like
a threat.
Listen, this is not about wings. We're going to venture off, but now since you've been dating for a while, you've learned this. Is there anything more frustrating? Let's say you're out at a state fair, right? Or out at a football game, and you walk up to the concession stand, and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to get some nachos," and you take the time to look and go, "Babe, do you want anything?" And she's like, "No." So you order nachos, and then you get back to the seat, and what happens?
Can I have some of your nachos?
Right, and you're like, "No, dude, I ordered the exact amount of nachos I wanted."
I think kind of what I've built in.
Is that a power play, by the way? Do you think that's what's going on? They're like, "Does he really love me?"
At some point, sometimes on some level, it is a test. Like, Kim will do it to me as a joke sometimes, be like, "Oh, will you buy this for me?" And I'm like, "Sure." And she's like, "Okay, I don't actually want it. I just wanted to see." So what I've learned to do is, like, if I ask her if she wants, like, one example I can think of, we went to McDonald's. She was having a bad night. I was like, "Hey, do you want anything?" She likes the little chicken sandwiches, the small ones.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Hey, do you want anything?" And she was like, "No, I don't want to eat. Like, I'm fine." I was
You
like,
just
"Okay,
ordered
well,
one anyway.
you should probably eat tonight. Like, do you want anything?" And she's like, "No." And so I just ordered one. And then she was so happy. She almost started crying when I got it. She was like,
That's awesome.
"I did want it." I was like, But yeah.
Which to me,
it's built in. I just kind of go for it.
To me, I'm like, I don't get that because like that's not a thing guys would ever lie about. Guys would never be like, I do want it, but don't get me one. Guys are like, heck yeah, I want a chicken sandwich.
I do.
Yeah.
I think I just lost
Have
what
you?
I was gonna say.
This is I know it's a wing episode, and I'm swerving out of your lane, but do you think McDonald's burgers have gotten smaller?
I would say they've got thinner.
Like it feels recently, like even the circumferences, they're losing me, man. I'm a big McDonald's fan, but I'm.
I would prefer a Burger King burger over a McDonald's burger.
Yeah, I can see that. We're gonna bring up. Give me a second while we'll keep talking, but I'm gonna bring up some of our listener comments because I wanted to get your take on some of the things. Oh yeah, you can have some root beer, man.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah, man. So we had some polarizing takes here on wings, and so there were some people. One, we did talk about we had talked about favorite dips, and John Puckett, you know John Puckett?
Yes.
Yeah, John said ranch, but specifically Wingstop ranch. And I just think that's a shout out we have to give. Wingstop has elite ranch.
Yeah. Super good ranch. Yeah, I mean it's hard to beat a good like homemade ranch.
Matt Jimenez said the same thing. He said ranch is the only acceptable. Francesco Watson, actually, we had a back and forth questioning one another's salvation. Over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it does come down to that.
I mean, it probably doesn't, but it might.
Yeah. This ranch we're eating, Dojo. This is actually very
good.
Solid.
Yeah, if you're ever in Bandera, actually, we won't speak the other place, but now can you objectively say there's a couple of pizzas on the Dojo menu that are pretty elite?
Oh yeah, chicken bacon ranch.
So Melissa Dolder, Melissa, Annie, Amelia, Matt, she says the only flavor of wings, or her favorite flavor of wings, buffalo with extra blue cheese always. She's like your wing opposite. Not your jam.
The only time I've had blue cheese and really liked it is Cam's mom, Amy. She'll order a steak, medium rare, with blue cheese melted on top.
It's a different deal. Blue cheese crumbles on a steak
good.
are so good. Yeah.
That's the only time.
I've had them in one salad with avocado and bacon. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So here's another thing I wanted to get your opinion on, though. Melissa said over the last couple of years, they've started taking the flats and they air fry them. It keeps the grease down. What are your thoughts on air frying a wing?
I think I've actually had air fried wings before, and I think they're pretty solid. Because I think it keeps some moisture in pretty well and gets you a good crisp outside.
I wanted to not like the air fryer, but the air fryer, ours just died though.
I think that the air fryer might be one of my favorite inventions.
So
maybe food inventions.
You remember Mike and Cheryl Hood when they were here? They're in Tennessee now. If you're looking for a home in the Nashville area, your perfect property team. Mike and Cheryl are great friends and great humans. Mike said his top three. He said buffalo, garlic parmesan, and then this is one that I found interesting that I'd not considered before. But he said chimichurri.
I don't even know what
chimichurri is. You've had it like on. Like in Mexican cuisine, like say on a flank steak, it's kind of like it's like an oil base with like cilantro and garlic. It's like Mexican pesto, kind of.
That sounds solid.
Yeah, I had never even thought of that, but it does. It does sound pretty. Solid.
I feel like that could be good. Actually, I feel like that would go with fry. Like if you get like this is definitely different than that, but like an Italian, like seasoned oil, kind of
like what
Italian with like. Thyme,
like what Macaroni Grill does for their bread or whatever,
and then fries in that
would be epic.
So good.
Okay, are you ready to? You can fight Mike on this one. Mike said his cooking method he says double breaded, deep fried, more drums than flats, and great hot buffalo sauce with a butter base. Everyone else is wrong.
Everyone else is wrong is crazy. That's absurd. I would have to try the double fried. I could probably get behind that. I think I would have to try them without buffalo, though, so I could be unbiased, because I'm definitely just 100% biased towards buffalo. I don't think you could win me over with any buffalo. The butter makes it a little bit better. The only thing is I feel like double breaded might be too much. Like,
I feel like it might be
I feel like you're going to be eating breading with a little bit of meat.
Now, I am going to say this, and Mike, if you're listening, Mike everything I've had that Mike has made has been amazing.
That's
so
valid.
like I'm gonna try it just on the strength of Mike Hood being the recommender because he's got street cred with me.
I'll try it. You know what? I retract my statement. I would try it with the buffalo, though I would be intrigued to try it without buffalo as well.
Yeah.
I feel like
You're very open-minded. People will find you as a nice compliment to me because I know, well, you live with me, but I tend to have strong
opinions.
yeah, strong opinions.
Strong, unchanging opinions.
Yeah.
Unless presented with fact.
It's like I don't change,
fact.
don't change, and then I will ultimately change, and then I'm just as passionate the other way.
Yeah. Like with pets. It's like, no, we're not getting it. And
remember-
then every time we get a new pet, it's
my
your
best friend. Yeah. And he loves when I sit down to watch football. She comes and sits right on me. Yeah. Daniel Allen was in. He did mention he has a hard time even buying wings more because they've gotten so expensive.
They have. I was going to mention that when we talked about the poor person's food. They have kind of become pretty pricey.
Yeah.
It's like I think at Wingstop I think it's like $20 for 10 wings.
Yeah, it is a very pricey, very, very pricey protein. We need to have Lacey Butler on, and we can ask her why that is. She's a chicken doctor. Well, not a chicken doctor. She's a
expert
chicken
in that field.
food doctor.
Chicken food doctor.
Yeah.
Chicken. That's all I heard.
That's all you heard.
Yeah.
Just feed me chicken.
Yep.
All right, we do this segment. You're going to fill in for Kevin. We do this segment every week where we call Blind Food News React. Are you ready? So I'm just going to read you a food news story, and then you're going to let me know your thoughts on it. Are you ready?
I have thoughts.
I know this first one you're going to like quite a lot, except that you missed it. Today, for President's Day, Firehouse Subs had a free sub, technically a BOGO.
It's not too late. It is
true.
President's
We
Day.
can wrap this up and we can head on into town.
It is still
eat our
President's
wings
Day.
on the way and get a little. How do you feel?
Firehouse has good subs.
You're a big fan, aren't you?
The hot subs specifically.
They steam them.
Yeah, I don't care what they do. I don't care what they do. It's just so good.
It is very good. It's very good. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, sad day.
Uh-oh.
William Bill Post, the co-inventor of the Pop-Tart,
Not
crossed
sad for
the
me.
Rainbow Bridge today.
Not sad for me.
I mean, he's a human being.
I mean,
Carson.
yeah, that's. But in terms of Pop-Tarts, don't care.
This is an
I
honest
don't
question because it's funny you think about things growing up, but did we ever have Pop-Tarts in our
Nope.
house?
Nope.
I don't think we ever have.
There's a lot of times where there's some foods that I do not prefer because we had an abundance of them growing up.
Such as?
You'd have to give me a minute to think
Edamame?
about that. No, those are good. I'm blanking now.
All right,
but
I'm sorry to do that.
Point
to you.
of the story, I've just hated Pop-Tarts always, regardless. We never had them at home, and I don't like them. I've tried them. My friends have brought them. Don't like them. They're just dry, and it's just eating stale, flavorless bread with a little bit of jelly. It's almost like a sad, really, really sad peanut butter and jelly, just without peanut butter.
Yeah. I don't know if this will mean anything to you. It means a lot to me, but the Choco Taco is making a comeback.
When we had an ice cream truck in our neighborhood as kids, me and Abby used to go get Choco Tacos and Shock Pens.
Man, Choco Tacos were so good, and they went the way of the dodo for a while.
Really?
But Taco Bell's bringing them back. Here's the thing: the headline says a partnership between Taco Bell and Salt and Straw Ice Cream has created a gourmet take on the discontinued frozen treat. I don't think of Taco Bell and gourmet in the same sentence very often.
It's not gourmet. What they mean is we made it one time, and now we're going to mass produce it.
If Taco Bell made wings, would you try them?
Probably not. I'm not in any way, shape, or form a Taco Bell fan. Last time I went, I tried their nachos, and their nachos were pretty solid.
So-
Other than that, don't like Taco Bell.
We need to have you on again when we talk sandwiches. People may not know this, but you are a sandwich creator.
Creator, connoisseur.
So this last story I ran by Kevin, and Kevin was completely not impressed. But I think you might be. Burger King is running a deal right now. So it says the Whopper offers over 200,000 possible customized combinations. And so just different ingredient mixes. So they're running a contest to create the best Whopper, and the winner gets $1 million, bro.
$1 million? They better. Holy. Oh my god! I would need to look at what toppings they have. Oh my gosh! I've made some pretty bomb sandwiches.
Yeah. Will you come back on for sandwiches?
Yes.
Yeah, we're just about out of time for wings here. So let me ask you this. So you, as you know, I've told you and told you publicly, congratulations on your acceptance and entrance into Texas A&M University, Gigamags. How important is it to you? How soon after arrival will you try to find a spot with decent wings? Or will you just go show me to the wing stop and I'll call it good?
I'd probably, to begin with, actually, maybe I wouldn't start with Wingstop because Wingstop's a little pricey and I will not have price beginning of college. So I may, there'll be a kitchen in the dorms. Maybe I could whip something up.
Do you do have an advantage because your aunt and uncle live there, and so they can make some.
I could go and use Dustin's grill,
or they could make some suggestions to you about places that have.
Yes, I too. Yeah.
I liked having you on, man.
I enjoyed being here.
You have any parting wing wisdom for us?
Man, you caught me off guard. Parting wing wisdom.
It's okay if you don't.
I don't think I do.
Well, come back and talk sandwiches with us. Will you? Okay.
I will.
Thank you guys for tuning in. It was a really cool opportunity for me to just get to sit and hang out with my kid. Sorry for dribbling ranch down my face, but that's the cost of doing business here when you're eating wings. Man, we just appreciate you guys turning in. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube especially, but if you could hit like and subscribe and share this, helps us a ton to get the word out so we can continue to do more fat face things. But, yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.